Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hey, Hare Krishna, everybody. Welcome. Yes. All right. So, let's chant the glories of the holy name now. Yeah. Oh, let's see. Do our little ego thing. Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Ouch. Creeps. Thank you. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Yes. So for our big O people, we're chanting this japa here. We're calling on the names of God. It's time for reaping the Lord, people to the Lord's work here. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hari Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari Krishna Krishna Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari 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 Rama Hari Rama 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavinda Nityananda Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Nityananda Nityananda 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 Shri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Shri Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Shri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Shri Krishna Chaitanya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Whoa, Krishna. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Sri Krishna Chaitanya. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Sri Sri Krishna Chaitanya, 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 Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Shri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Nityananda 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 Shri Krishna Chaitanya 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Can you get my tablet? It's over there somewhere. Oh, here it is. Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Jai Srila Prabhupada. So I'll continue on the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th Canto, Chapter 25. So Krishna lifts Govardhana Hill. Trembling from the distress this is text 12. Trembling from the distress brought about by the severe rainfall, and trying to cover their heads with their calves, and with their own heads of the and calves with their own bodies, the cows approached the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The cowherd men and women addressed the Lord. Lord Krishna, 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 O most fortunate one, please deliver the cows from the wrath of Indra. O Lord, you are so affectionate to your devotees. Please save us also. Seeing the inhabitants of his Gokul rendered practically unconscious by the onslaught of the hail and the blasting wind, the Supreme Lord Hari understood that this was the work of angry Indra. Sri Krishna said to himself, because we have stopped his sacrifice, Indra has caused this unusually fierce, unseasonable rain. Because with terrible winds and together with terrible winds and hail. By my mystic power, I will completely counteract the disturbance caused by Indra. The demigods, like Indra, are proud of their opulence, and out of foolishness they falsely consider themselves the Lord of the universe. I will now destroy such ignorance. Since the demigods are endowed with the mode of goodness, the false pride of considering oneself the Lord should certainly not affect them. I must therefore protect the cowherd community by my transcendental potency, for I am their shelter. I am their master, and indeed, they are my own family. After all, I have taken a vow to protect my devotees. Having said this, Lord Krishna, who is Vishnu himself, picked up Govardhan Hill with one hand and held it aloft easily as a child holds up a mushroom. The Lord then addressed the cowherd community, O mother, O father, O residents of Raj, if you wish, you may now come under this hill with your cows. You should have no fear that this mountain will fall from my hand, and don't be afraid of the wind and the rain, for your deliverance from these afflictions has already been arranged. You know, what popped into my mind is the Hare Krishna mantra. It's like the Lord is offering, if you wish, you can come under the shelter of the name of God. You know, if you wish, you know, and get shelter from all this wind, you know, the rain of illusion, man. From a strong illusion coming now. You notice? A lot of, you know, draconian stuff, man. Really, like, it's like Kamsa. He was a persecutor. Very fierce. I ruled like with an iron fist. See? So coming under the shelter of Krishna's name and pastimes. And like this is a shelter, isn't it? Wonderful. How's your belly today? Good. Okay, great. Yeah, it's the milk, probably. Their minds thus pacified by Lord Krishna, they entered beneath the hill, which they found ample room for themselves. Isn't it funny? He picked up that hill because it's the abode of all his pastimes and everything, you know. And that's what we're doing. Pick up the hill. Every day, sadhu sangha, hear about the Lord, chant his name, come under the shelter, you know. Otherwise, where else can you go, really? Hey, this is, even the Christians know, this is a time of harvest, man. Bring people to the Lord's shelter. Yeah? Where else can you go in this times? Nowhere. Yeah. Yeah. See, even those who are proud of being like they're the Lord's, you know, they can do it, you know, and they can't do it. You know, it's just like, and these kind of times, the demoniac energy gets so powerful, it's very humbling, you know, and you realize even though you're a good person and you have good intelligence and all of that, you can't do it on your own. You need the help of the Lord. See, this is devotee. Know that. You know, they're powerful because of the Lord's, what do you call, shelter. See? And that's always glorified. Not, you know, like, I'm just so smart and it's like you without God shows we're weak, even as demigods types. See? So this is very humbling. See? So these elements, the demigods and the demons, they pelt the people, you know, in this world. You know, there are always miseries here. Even the demigods cause disturbances. You know, hurricanes, all this stuff is demigods. They control the weather. And now the demons are at it now. They also want to get control. So, you know, between the demigods and the demons, you know, they're controlling the weather artificially now. This is like, it's like Hiranyakashipu. He was trying to build a stairway into Vaikuntha. He wanted to build his own, you know, mechanical way to get up there. And the same doggone thing's going on now. They're doing it by machinery and technology. They think, well, they're very proud of their technology. You know, they think they can go to other planets and all that stuff. And, you know, they have subterranean heavenly planets. They're doing the same damn thing here. You can go, you know, it's all coming to light. They have tunnels down here, and they have these places. They're built like 5-star hotels down underneath for these people. You know, they got a place. They can do all this crap here. And then they go to their 5-star home, you know, while this stuff is going on. See, subterranean is all down in there underground. See, this is what people do. All this energy, all this thing, and it's not unnecessary, you know, because all we need is the name of God, you know, and a little fruits and flowers in this world to really survive. and be totally happy doing devotional service, chanting the Lord's name, chanting His glories. This is what they do. We read that in Vaikuntha. In Vaikuntha, that's all they, they're just totally happy, just praising God, and the truth of the Lord, and with this taste. Yeah. That's it, man. And that's the opulence in the world is that's what we get. Being in sadhu sangha is increasing taste for glorifying God, and taste His name, the shelter of His name, the happiness of His name, basically happiness of living with God, with the supreme absolute truth, being close to the Lord. That's the lesson of this world. That's Maharaj Parikshit. He was on his death thing. He said, okay, I finished. Okay, you want me to go? It's time to go. Okay, no problem. Life is successful. Here, see? So whatever happens here in this world, if you can get taste for the glories of the Lord, taste for this shelter, just to come under the shelter and feel feel sheltered. This is the whole thing. When you come under shelter, you feel sheltered. Oh, like I'm out of the elements, right? Same thing with the name and the past tense. When you come under the name, you feel the shelter. Oh, wow, this is it. It's transcendental shelter. See, and then because subtly, it's like Paul said, we don't wrestle with flesh and blood. We wrestle with principalities. That's what people are feeling now, is the principalities impinging on them, the demigods and the demons. See? And so we're wrestling with principality, but it's not wrestling at all, really, when the Lord is so powerful, especially now. See? Just coming under the shelter, and He takes everything on His back. See, the shelter of Govardhan, all this stuff is coming. It's nothing to the Lord. You should have no fear that this mountain will fall from my hand, and don't be afraid of the wind and the rain, for your deliverance from these afflictions has already been arranged. See, and that's there's a lot of afflictions now. Now they're more subtle. Subtle, these impinging. It's like being imprisoned more and more. You can't breathe and mass and all. But the devotees, they get. It's like you don't have to fight it and you don't have to resist it. There's always a way for the devotees. You go in the store and you don't have to be a big martyr even. It's always a way. Some people, they go in the store and they got to sit there and mask it out. See, this is another path. Some people, they want to fight and resist, be part of the resistance, and they got to, make a statement like that. It's kind of an ego thing. You see me, I can resist all this stuff. And then those are the ones who are totally masked up and submissive to the rule, the draconian rule. See, but the devotees, there's always a way for them. It's not either or. You go in the mat, put the thing down like she has a little thing on her nose, and she's breathing just fine. But it satisfies all these fools out there doing stuff like that. Because you're not going to be like, people are doing these things because they think it's some kind of either moral obligation either way. But see, those are the two different paths, and this is another way. This is really great. So, and actually, there's a saying of Jesus. He said, "Resist not evil." See that resistance? There's that thing of resisting. So anyway, their minds thus pacified by Lord Krishna, they entered beneath a hill where they found ample room for themselves and their cows, wagons, servants, and priests, and all other members of the community. This is sadhu sangha. It's not a thing of flesh and blood necessarily. The pastimes of the Lord are subtle. It's just coming under the shelter of Sadhu Sangha. Look how practically this is being done. Everybody is in a different part of the world, and we're under the shelter of the same umbrella, and it keeps expanding. See, this is where, this is, everybody's, either people are praising technology or criticizing it. When it's used for the service of the Lord, it's great. Everybody, we all can come under the shelter of glorifying the Lord, glorifying the truth about Krishna, and the path and the name. Their minds were thus pacified. Okay, so Lord Krishna, forgetting hunger. Oh, their minds thus pacified. It looks at the word for word of these things. They're really nice. So, cinnamon, word for word. Tata, thus, near Vishu, they entered Gartam, the hollow, Krishna, by Lord Krishna, Avastita, pacified, Manasa, their minds. See, minds pacified. See, minds pacified by attraction. See, coming under the shelter of Govardhan Hill, coming under the shelters, our minds are pacified by the awakening of spiritual body, so we can engage in devotional service. Pacifies our mind. Pacifies our, the mind is very restless, always looking for something out there, some shelter actually. Can't find it. The mind is always desiring something, it's looking for shelter. See, is it in the world? Is it in the words of hypocrites and liars and cheaters? See, and it's always restless. See, is it in money? See, and people can continue with their restlessness. But see, under the Lord is where full satisfaction is, full pacification is. Pacified manasa, their minds, yata avaksham, comfortably, sadhana, with their cows, savraja, and with their wagons, sa abhuja, together with their dependents, such as servants and brahmana priests. That's significant, see? Dependents. See? So Lord Krishna, or Lord Chaitanya quoted a verse. He said, Krishna is eternal. God is eternal, right? The Lord's servants are eternal. Those intimate servants of the Lord. And the servants of the servants are considered eternal. Those who come under the shelter of the Lord with them. See? That's the idea of guru and disciple. See? Even their disciples who take wholehearted, full shelter of a bona fide guru are considered eternal. And that you feel it. Those who are real disciples and taking real shelter of a real guru, empowered by the Lord, in the disciplic line, feel that shelter. You can actually feel it. It's tangible. Even though you're not perfect. The Lord said, oh, well, no, you can, there's ample room for the servants of my servants. That's what I'm feeling, under Prabhupada. There's ample room for me because, being a servant of Prabhupada and being under his instruction and his shelter. Okay? And that goes for here. If anybody who considers this fool Gaurahari Das their spiritual master and everything, there's ample shelter. They don't have to be perfect. Just come under the shelter. That's how it works. That's a disciplic line. It's an honest way. Genuine way. See? Supported by the scriptures. See? Just invited in. Come under the shelter. See? People should ask themselves, do I have the shelter of the Lord? Do you feel it? Is your mind fully satisfied being under the shelter of the Lord? If you got it, great. If not, come under the shelter. Karuna says, sadhana with their cows. Sadhana with their cows. I don't get what you're saying there. You got to explain. So Lord Krishna, forgetting hunger and thirst, putting aside all considerations of personal pleasure, stood there holding the hill for 7 days, as the people of Raj gazed upon him. Purport by A.C. Bhakti. Is this A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada? Vishnu Purana. Okay. From the Vishnu Purana. Lord Krishna held up the mountain while his praises were chanted by the residents of Raj. So Lord Krishna held up the mountain while his praises were chanted by the residents of Raj, all of whom now had the opportunity to dwell together with him. See, that's Sadhu Sangha. They're together with Krishna. See, the Lord is holding up the hill. Okay? And the devotees are praising the Lord, isn't it? Okay? And who glanced at him with the joyful, amazed eyes. Thus the cowherd men and women were all elated. Out of loving affection, they opened their eyes wide. By continuously drinking the nectar of the beauty and sweetness of Krishna, the residents of Vrindavan felt no hunger, thirst, or fatigue. And Lord Krishna, by seeing their beautiful forms, also forgot about eating, drinking, and sleeping. It's like he's looking at the reflection of himself. See, the devotees are looking at Krishna in blooming. Okay? And Krishna is looking at that bloom. He's looking at his own reflection, the spiritual potency, reflected in devotees. Devotees are like mirrors, That's basically it. When you're in the material world, where people are reflecting the material energy, reflecting the shadow. See, because they're in contact, they're meditating on that. So it comes out of them. See, everything's twisted, therefore what comes out of them is twisted. That's the hypocrisy, it's all twisted truth, everything. So when we meditate on Krishna is when we really get purified, meditate on his name and everything, then we're purified by looking at the eternal truth, man, and then we begin to reflect that out more instead of this other stuff. You become more, truthful in that sense. Which verse? Okay, this is verse 25 that I'm on here in the purport. Yeah. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur points out that 7 days of continuous rain from the Samvartika clouds failed to flood the district of Mathura because of the Supreme Lord. Simply by his potency, immediately dried up the water as it fell to the ground. Thus Krishna lifting Govardhan Hill is a fascinating detail and has for thousands of years remained one of his most famous pastimes. So, again, people, how do you know this is not just mythology? You have to see the esoteric nature of this here now. You have to feel, do I have the shelter of the Lord? Do I have the shelter of his pastimes? Do I see the esoteric nature where it's practical living in my life? Okay? Otherwise, it's like a myth, right? A story. Oh, very nice. Krishna was there. He held the pastimes. Yeah. But do you feel that experience in this life and how it shows up practically? Okay? These stories have their metaphors also for the experience of the shelter of the Lord. I remember when I had the experience of Jesus Christ, like this crucifixion thing, how it really shows up. I realized okay, it happened, but it's also a metaphor. It's an esoteric teaching of what a transformation that people go through their bodies, the raising. And it's also discussed in the in the Vedas. It talk about, or Lord Chaitanya talked about, Krishna has to arise in the heart, rise into the heart. See, and Jesus talked about this too. Have to be if I'm raised up on a pole, I will draw all men unto me. See, raised up on the pole is the pole of the body. See, it's all esoteric, these things. And I said, yeah, that's how it was. That's how it is. Raised up on a pole. Yes, coming up here. It's like our energy, our consciousness is raised up on this pole. The body literally feel it like, see, rising of Krishna in the heart. See, it's like a fountain of consciousness. See, it has to be raised up our consciousness. Otherwise, our consciousness is centered down in, this chakra system they talk about. There's the power chakra. See, solar plexus. Your consciousness is, I want more power. I want more control. See, or sense gratification, in the genitals. I need, some of these guys, they're finding out they're just constantly interested in sex all day long, practically. That Jeffrey Epstein guy, all day long, and it gets really sadistic and all that because their conscience not raised up. See, that's why some of these demons and those who are following them, they end up converting to Christ and their energy is raised up, see, into a higher consciousness. And then they think differently. They think for the welfare of others and they want to expose all this stuff and they realize, oh my God, it's horrible. Okay? This is the change of heart, the revolution in our lives. Otherwise, the world is like under that influence. See? You're working for your own benefit by hook or crook and lies and cheating and all that. That's also still in religion until people's consciousness is raised up. See? Till they can appreciate, the glories of the Lord as the shelter. Not only the shelter, but everything. The inspiration, they were looking at Krishna holding up the hill of Govardhan with amazed eyes and astonished. And, this is spiritual, man. This Vrindavan represents transcendental consciousness of living with God. See, that's, isn't it uncanny? In the Bible, they talk about the Garden of Eden and Adam and Eve living with God, close to God, God speaking to them. And the same thing. Who's doing that? See? Well, that's what the Lord wants, especially now. Hey, man, you want to live down here and be pelted by the demigods because you're in action and reaction and you're fighting against or fighting for. See? Fighting for control, fighting for this, see, or fighting against. See, that's the demons and the demigods. The devotees are raised up into a whole new level of consciousness. And that's available now also. You could take the sides of the demons and the masses and support, putting on, your loss of breath, and they're just killing you, man. People believe in being, oh yeah, they're leading me, they die, and people resisting it. Okay? And the devotees, or you can, live in the higher consciousness. You can come to the Lord. You come through the Lord's representatives, whether it's in Christianity, a lot of Lord's representatives there. Also here in Vaishnavism, same thing. If you're whether you're a Christian, are you ready to be raised up in consciousness where you worship the Lord according to the Holy Spirit? Or as a Vaishnava, are you ready to have your consciousness raised up into you worshiping the Lord in ecstatic love? Or are you just going to stay like that? Still, you're going to feel some pelts of this material nature, or quite a few actually. See, the devotees get more full protection from this. So the Lord is trying to help everybody come through the door, through the door, his representatives. Okay? So see, higher consciousness now is available. I was listening to this Christian guy. He's an old guy, and he really had a big smile on his face. You can tell the person who has God in them, they smile a lot. That old guy, he's at 2020 right now, older guy, had God, the Lord in his heart. I see on Bigo who has God and who doesn't also. They always have that smile on their face that God is in them. And you know what? These are the people that are in lower consciousness that want to get rid of the black people, and stuff like that. That's their real intention. Oh, they want to get rid. And they don't know how God is working. A lot of these persons, from the what these guys would say the inferior race, they have the Lord, man. See, people don't think like God thinks. That's the problem. This is this white suprematist, stuff like this, or people think they're superior. It could be even in Brahmins. They don't know how God is thinking. God, he wants to give himself to everybody. As a matter of fact, he gives first to these, even the ones that are defenseless or apparently less intelligent. But if they just come under the shelter, man. Come under the shelter, even here. Come under the shelter here. It's an invite. No, it's no, what do you call? No force. You don't have to. It's here. That's what Krishna did with his devotee. Hey, if you wish, you can come under this shelter here. And the call still, I say the same thing. Hey, man, if you wish, you can come under the shelter here. Do you see it as a shelter? I do. I come under the shelter every day. You notice? We're, when Krishna was lifting up Govardhan Hill, he was also sheltered from the rain, wasn't he? Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's how it is. He's sheltered, and then people come under the shelter of Krishna. See? And the cowherd boys, they had their sticks up there holding the hill too. See, that's like the devotee. He's up there holding Krishna's holding it, and they got their little stick up there. It's like we do here. I got my little stick up here, but who's really holding the hill? It's Krishna. Yeah, come on in. The shelter is here, whether you see it as the guru or Krishna holding it. Krishna's really, he's the one who's doing it. But the shelter is here and available for people. Yeah. Well, what do? We're just happy to do with those prayers we read yesterday. The resonance in Vaikuntha, the spiritual world. They're just happy glorifying the Lord. They're under, it is great happiness to taste the glorification of the Lord, or hear it. Hear that. It's like music of the spheres. Yeah, see, we're demonstrating the other path out. This is the narrow gate that Jesus was talking about. It's the glorification of the Lord. This is the real Vaishnava way. See? Otherwise, what do we hear on Facebook and everything? People talking. They're trying to fight this thing, or they're trying to promote this thing. Right? You got the WHO and the CDC promoting, oh yeah, wear the mask. It's wonderful. Yeah, it's a great way to stop you. And people fighting, with the better science, fighting against it. And so you could take a side there and you could be part of that. And how do you feel under it? You feel the shelter? I don't. I just feel, this is the shelter. This is where the peace is that surpasses all understanding. This is where the restlessness is, where it surpasses all understanding. Restless because of bhakti, man. Chanting that holy name and feeling so blissed out you can't contain it. Who can understand that? Well, you got to come under the shelter and experience it. The ecstasy that surpasses understanding, or the transcendental happiness that surpasses understanding. It's eternal. And the Lord wants to give that to us here in this world. Yeah, hi. Yeah. Yeah, question, are you ready to rise? Rise to the spiritual platform. See, people say, no, you're not, no, spiritual platform, many lifetimes, because my guru said many lifetimes. Well, hey, man, maybe that's what he said. See, that was his message. Well, the message here through the parampara is, hey man, rise now. Feel yourself rising after 25 years or 40 years or 50 years in ISKCON. Feel the resurrection and the life. See, the real life is ecstatic worship, man. The resurrection is your consciousness from the more material level to the spiritual level. You experience that. Remember Jesus said, I'm the resurrection and the life? Well, the more conclusive understanding is here, well, it's that may have been, if he's the Lord, he is the resurrection and life, okay? But a preacher would say, yeah, Christ is the resurrection and the life, okay? Or a Vaishnava will say, Krishna is the resurrection and life. And come in disciplic line and experience that resurrection of your consciousness to the spiritual platform. Hey, carte blanche, as a gift, as the Lord gave it, as Jesus Christ gave it, as Lord Caitanya gave it. Come and experience the resurrection and what real life is. Is this bhakti, man? Is this transcendental glorification of the Lord with great transcendental happiness? You can't do it on your own because, that's what we see. If your conscious is not really resurrection, that's the boring Bhagavatam classes. That's going to church and you see the lifeless pew sitters and the lifeless priest. See? Well, when your consciousness is not resurrected to the spiritual platform, when it's time to be raised up, because you're not ready to go, or you don't want to go, you don't get the invite, or the invite is there and you're not going, well, you stay at that level. Okay? You stay in the boring Bhagavatam classes, or they're still, talking about Varnashram Dharma and setting up cow protections and all of that. I mean, I'm not against these things. I'm just saying still it's on a material platform, man. Yeah. Well, are those cows transcendental? You can tell it's great. Mode of goodness, cows are nice and they're sweet and everything. But is that cow that cow's consciousness raised to the transcendental platform? I don't think so. It just is your consciousness raised to the transcendental. Why is that cow better than you? They're both mundane still. That's Varnashram Dharma. Protect the cows and all that stuff. See? So better the cow, as well as yourself as a cow, come under the shelter where the consciousness of the devotees' consciousness is raised to the transcendental platform. You think that's going on here or what? See? You cannot have uncommon Krishna conscious realizations and revelations and understand the metaphors and the esoteric nature of this unless your consciousness is raised to that platform. You cannot chant the holy name with great transcendental happiness that brings tears and laughter, joking, and all these wonderful things unless your consciousness is raised to the transcendental platform. Okay? How come people don't know this? Because they're invited now. You got to come under the shelter and find out. Or you can stay out there and be pelted by the envious and the hypocrites and the liars and the cheaters. They can't help it, unless your consciousness is raised into the truth and you speak truth. You don't have to be anything special to get over hypocrisy. You just come under the shelter of Krishna, feel that shelter, and speak from that place. The Lord speaks through you. His transcendental potency speaks through you. Straight, not crooked. On the money. The real money. Freddie says, demons, demigods is all duality and is never the real shelter. Exactly. Demons, demigods. What do you think our Bhagavatam's teaching about now? Demons and demigods fighting this. The real shelter is not there. The ones who come under the shelter of the Lord. If you read Hiranyakashipu's, when he took over, like the demons are taking over now, okay? They're very tricky, lie, strong delusion, get under the delusion, yeah? Take over, even good people go under that shelter. What was the point? Yeah, I wanted to take over, but there is... Well, anyway, one angle that there was one other point, very subtle point. But some people took shelter, where actually the majority took shelter of Hiranyakashipu and just served him. They became under the strong delusion, and then I took over the whole universe. See, and so some took the side of the demigods and fought it, but some came under the shelter of the Lord. They took shelter of the Lord and came under. See, then you start to think from God's perspective. You see from the Lord's deeper perspective that the demigods and the demons cannot see. The demigods get a better possibility of it, but both sides basically are ignorant of, and that's the Lord's perspective. Because unless you're a devotee, unless you get the shelter of the Transcendental Lord, you cannot see his more deeper game plan, his agenda. You only see their agenda. You notice you see people fighting this. Their agenda is so that they can get life back as it was. And the other agenda is that they can change the world and make slaves of people. That's what demons do. And they do it they trick you. And then, they lie, cheat. That's what they do. That's their nature. And they look really nice and truthful, but they're wolves in sheep's clothing. There are lots of quotes in the Vedas about cows. One who kills a cow has to reincarnate as much as their hairs on the cow. Yeah, there's all that stuff, man, but a lot of times you got to look at beyond the, a lot of these things are changed by Brahmins, they just, who knows. I think killing a human being is worse than killing a cow. I don't know about that as being really conclusive. There's a lot of scare stuff in there, in the Vedas. Even Bhakti Vinod talked about it. He says all these hells, there are horrible hells in the 5th canto. A lot of those were the Brahmins do that to scare us into serving God. Anyway, I'm not into this scare stuff. You don't need it, man. Scare people to follow Ekadasi. I don't believe all these things like that. If you want to believe it, great. I have the shelter of the Lord. I'm not, I like conclusiveness. I'm into the love of God right now. All these things about rules, regulations, and whether that's the problem with the rules and regulations and following that path. It's not perfect. It's not really perfect. What is really perfect is glorify Krishna's name and his pastimes, with great ecstatic love. Yeah, not all this fear stuff, to keep people from killing the cows. There's all kinds of contradictions in it. There are verses even I found just recently might be even taken out of the Bhagavatam. I can't find it. Where it says you can eat these cloven hoof animals, and there's no sin in it. See, because the lower classes, they eat this stuff. See, the Lord, what's he trying to say? Anybody can get the shelter of the Lord. Even those who eat meat. The people don't know this. That's the imperfection of the Vaidhi level. You see, many people in Christianity got the shelter of the Lord. They're eating meat. Okay? Matter of fact, those who criticize those who have the shelter of the Lord and they're vegetarians, that's pride. They've got a stumbling block in front of them. Lord Nityananda delivered a lot of meat eaters. He went and ate with them, with fish eaters, mutton eaters, whatever they're eating. Jesus Christ did too. People don't know the power of bhakti. I'm not advocating eating meat, just understanding the real process. There's a lot of people that are vegetarians that are murderers. I think even Hitler was a vegetarian. He believed in the Vedas too. That swastika sign is from the Vedas. Yeah. So, and there are murderers in the Hare Krishna movement, man. We all know that. People have been murdering people. There, even when before in the Gaudiya Math, there was a lot of murders going on after Prabhupada, after Bhaktisiddhanta left. People were fighting, doing really horrible things. So, so, according to the Lord, people don't know the worst persons that disqualify them. What's worse than a meteor? Blasphemer of Vaishnavas. That's worse than a meat eater. A meat eater doesn't block the path of saving souls, but a fault finder could. So the Lord is always, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's a whole chapter dedicated to those who find fault with real Vaishnavas. Real Vaishnava is a person who is living in higher consciousness, man, whose consciousness is raised to the transcendental platform, who gets extreme pleasure of chanting the holy name and glorifying the Lord and opening that portal, that door for others to come into there very easily without a lot of trouble. Otherwise, you got a lot of troubles. You still got troubles if you come to the Vaidhi. There's a lot of fault finders in Vaishnavism, in ISKCON and Gaudiya Math and Gaudiya Smith. They still have that quality. As soon as a real Vaishnava appears on the scene, they're the first to stop him. Or try to, or hold other people back. See? That fault has to be gotten over by those so-called gurus and sannyasis and Brahmins, as well as their followers. Otherwise, they're stuck there. I'll get more meat eaters here through the door than I will those fault finders. Do you get the point? This is the truth, man. This is conclusive. They can criticize meat eaters all they want, but if you find fault with a real Vaishnava who is empowered to deliver people, that's the real fault. That's more of a fault. The Lord said, I can give ecstatic love to anybody but a fault finder of Vaishnavas, of his servants. We read something like that yesterday. Forgot what it's. Oh, yeah, that was in the thing. He says, yeah. So anyway, it's just one of those, it's one of the heavy obstacles that people need to learn so they can get through that. If you understand this preaching here, you can come very easily, you can begin to become attracted to Krishna's transcendental form, in the form of his books, form of his names. If not, you stay out there and with those who are, still at that level, haven't been resurrected yet in consciousness. Tuka says, I never have been told about Brahmins changing scripture to scare us. Common sense suspected it. Well, that's what Bhakti Vinod, you see, Bhakti Vinod wasn't holding back all that much. Well, he did still. But, I just point out what he even says, these things. So, after these acharyas, it's like the Bible, man. After the real persons leave and the editors come out and they see we can do these things, that's why you need a person who has realized Krishna. And actually, their consciousness is not dependent on the verdicts of the scriptures even. Because they got experience with God, They chant his holy name and just really happy about it. And then they chant the scriptures and they can see, you notice I keep stopping at things. I say, hey, that's not exactly conclusive. Let's go to the word for word and try to figure it out. And often we do. See? So just kind of how it is. And sometimes the acharyas preach a certain way. Because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says this, the Lord shows his real intimate devotees all these intricacies. That's why, again, you need a living spiritual master, really, unless your consciousness is raised to the transcendental platform. And then you come to Sadhu Sangha and enjoy the sacrifice. And if your conscience is not raised or raised enough, you continue also to go to Sadhu Sangha. It's good for the neophytes. It's good for the advanced. It's good for everybody. What we got going here is good for everybody. It's a rare thing, rare situation. In Vaishnavism, what I see, most persons' consciousness is not raised to this ecstatic platform. Okay? You can ask Christina. She noticed. She goes over there and saw. But they got something, because they believe in Krishna. There's some kind of some kind of protection there. We're just upping it a notch. Okay. So by continuously drinking the nectar, the beauty and sweetness of Sri Krishna, the residents of Vrindavan felt no hunger, thirst, or fatigue. So, and that's basically it, man. You know, you just feel, we have to taste this nectar. You have to drink the nectar in the name and the pastimes and the qualities of the Lord. And then whatever the fatigue of the world just is not, it's just tolerable, easily tolerable. As they also telling before eating to have offer his foot, as told in the video, there a woman devotee of Ram, and before she gave berries to Ram, she tasting before giving to Ram, she wanted to give sweet berries. I don't quite understand, but okay. Srila Vishwanath, okay, points out, so okay, anyway. When Indra observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. Pulled down from his platform of false pride and his intention thwarted, he ordered his clouds to desist. And this happens a lot. You know, when Haridas was whipped in 21 marketplaces, he was smiling, actually. And afterwards, when he was brought back before the Muslim, he said, "My God, you were obviously protected by the Lord. Otherwise, this couldn't have been done. You didn't feel the persecution." And that's how it is too in the world. When we have Krishna's shelter, you're not feeling the persecution going on so much. Maybe something, but depends on our advancement. The Lord protects us from this persecution coming now. This is why, again, you want protection from the persecution, come under the shelter of Sadhu Sangha. Come where the real devotees are. See, this is a call and invite now to the world, anybody. The persecution is just starting. You notice it's increasing every day? Look, you can check the news. This is good to want perspective. Go check the news. Go look at what do you call, what is that? Australia. Type 4 lockdown now, very severe. Even the guy talking about very severe. Demigod types, what is going on? There's only so few deaths, but more lockdown, more masking up. Same thing now in the news. See, the devotee protects, even gives them intelligence to see even beyond what the demigods see. Here they're always doing this thing. There are more infections. There's more, not about deaths. Always more infections. Well, everybody's got this shit in them. And they don't even know what the coronavirus thing is. But more infections. See, they scare. They want to scare people who can't think deeply. See, they can't analyze. So they scare people it's like twisting the truth. See, this is what they've done. But the devotees can understand because the Lord helps them. See, the Lord's saying, you see what I'm doing here? See, strong delusion here for those who haven't come to my shelter, and as an opportunity, as they feel this persecution, the devotees, the Christians and us, Vaishnavas, going out and saying, hey man, you want to come under, you want to get shelter from that persecution and that hypocrisy and everything? Here you go, come under the shelter. The Lord will give us all intelligence to see what he's doing on this level to drive people to him. Yeah. Even Kamsa, when that was going on with Kamsa, the Lord was using Kamsa in many ways. He used Kamsa to keep his pastimes protected, so nobody could go to Vrindavan. You had to overcome the fear of Kamsa. Okay? Same thing now. You can't come here. You have to overcome the fear, or want to overcome the fear of this persecution. These rulers. That includes religion. These rulers in religion. See, still the invite for those religious in religion and in the world, you can come under this shelter. You ready? Or you want to just get there, criticize this shelter. and stay under the persecution there, or be a persecutor. See, these persecutors think, well, we're going to live the life of Riley. And you guys got to say, this is demoniac. You know, this is what people do. They think selfish. Okay? And I hear some people, they say, well, I'm doing great in this time. You know, there are a lot of people doing great in this time. Okay? And they didn't care. See, that's the other side. I'm doing great, and they're good people. Well, I'm doing great. And they can think about, they're not thinking about you not doing great. They're thinking about, well, I'm doing great in this time. See? But that doesn't include you, and they can include you. That's a more demigod thing. See, I'm doing, as I said, I heard one of your family members say that, actually. I'm doing great in this time making these things. I'm doing great, man. Everything. But what about these other guys losing their jobs? They can't think about that. Yeah. See, but I can say, hey, man, I'm doing great in this time, man. Doing great. But then it can include you, too. Come under the shelter like me. You know? Same kind of thing, but it's a more purified version. It's not selfish. Yeah, man, I'm doing great because the shelter of the Lord is here. The order of the Lord is here. The parampara is here. The power of God is here for Vaishnavas. I'm doing great. You can also. Or you want to be a grumbler. You're doing great, blah, 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 blah. You stay out there. Well, hey, that's your problem, man. I'm inviting. The invite is here, man. Come under the shelter. I'm doing great. My friends are doing great. Most of them. You can too. See? Win-win. If I said, what do you want me to be, falsely humble, or any these other guys are, well, I'm just, just come under my shelter here, or the shelter of these gurus, and, all that, look at it, but because I'm just a very humble guy and all that. Yeah, but you come under here, man. No, hey, man, you come here, you get the glory of the Lord. The safety of the Lord, man, the safety of his name, man. Have you noticed? I just keep telling the truth. If you can chant the holy name in great ecstatic love and chant these pastimes with great transcendental happiness and gusto and enthusiasm, you're saved. Not only for me, it's win-win. You come under the shelter, I come under the shelter, you come under the shelter. We'll both be lifted up to the transcendental platform without a lot of trouble. Win-win. If you don't want to win, that's your problem. and the problem of those who follow you. If you have this kind of shelter and in your sangha and your, with your dependents, great. But I don't think it's out there everywhere, this kind of level of ecstatic worship. Christine says, through your words, Guru, we can taste the divine nectar of the scriptures. When I heard a woman read in ISKCON temple, I got bored because I was empty. The loving relationship with Krishna was lacking in her heart. Yeah, okay. And that's why we're here. And it's when they're ready. See, this is very much tied into the pastime of Krishna and the unmarried gopis. A lot of those persons, that woman there is an unmarried gopi. She's not married to Krishna yet. She wants to be. That's why she's a devotee, right? But you can see they're not married yet. Because when you're married, even materially, you see the married woman that gets married very happy, at least at first, right? And the man too, king for a day. I won't say the rest. You ever see those marriages? Oh, they were good. See, so the esoteric meaning of the unmarried gopis. See, they want Krishna. That's like Vaishnavas. In the mass movements of ISKCON and all of them, actually, if you're not married to Krishna, then you're not fully satisfied, and doesn't show in your heart or your face or anything. See, so they still want looking to be married. So, and what are they doing? Austerities. They're eating what? Unspiced khichdi. See, their food, they're chanting, unspiced still. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna. I'm just doing this out of duty. Hey, mode of goodness, striving. See, unspiced khichdi. See, the real khichdi is the name of God, my friends. The pastimes of the Lord. See, for the devotees who are married to Krishna, now tied to Krishna, they're eating khichdi with a lot of nice spices, man. That food, the name, it's got spiced up, man. It's in the chanting and ecstasy. Yeah, that's the spice, man. It's got salt. It's not vegetables without salt. They're eating food with all these wonderful spices. That's called transcendental mellows. Hey, you want to eat like that? Well, let's come under here, man. We'll marry you to Krishna. That's our whole job, man. We're like midwives. Come here. We got a lot of friends here helping now. You know, a lot of helpers. We'll get you married and hitched up with Krishna, man. And your khichdi will be full of flavorful spices, transcendental mellows. Oh, you're not interested yet? Okay, well, keep doing your austerities till you are. Maybe you'll make it through this cycle, you know, where you're not killed off by the shots they want to give everybody, or the mask, wearing the mask. One day you just might drop dead, like those 2 children. You know, 2 children just dropped dead in China, man, from wearing a mask. See, and they see, like kids, they say you got to. They probably just had it on there, and then they just drop dead. You know, because they do what they're told, especially in China. They're trained from birth to do what they're told. Now we've seen a lot of people been trained here to do what they're told without thinking, you know. Yeah. See, the Lord gives intelligence. That's why, you know, these demigod types trying to educate people. Okay, maybe some will be educated, but somewhat. But still, what are you going to do? Here, Krishna gives you the education, man. You see what they do. The Lord informs us by revelation. You know, this is you see. So this is why this is a real door, man. You come in here and then you get hitched to God. Otherwise, you're going to be like that lady, just eating unspiced khichdi, still trying to get it. So at a certain point, the Lord will give her and others intelligence to understand this kind of preaching. Because, you know, after eating unspiced khichdi for, you know, or chanting the holy name without this ecstasy, after a while, and then you see those who are the witnesses, you might change your mind, right? It's a little bit like, hey, man, looks like more happiness there. Yeah. See, so when Indra observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, he became most astonished. And that's the way that shows up in 2020 is here we have Sadhu Sangha, and where Govardhan Hill is being held up here. See, we hold Govardhan Hill up. What are we doing? We're worshiping the transcendental pastimes of the Lord with attraction, with attention. See, with attraction, you know, with feeling, with conclusive understanding. We're holding Govardhan. You see, Govardhan, the whole thing was we're holding Govardhan Hill up. It's giving us shelter. You feel it? You feel relieved of many miseries? The pelting? See? So Indra, and this goes for people in the world. After a while, they're looking, wow, there must be shelter under there, under that Sadhu Sangha. Yeah, come on under, if you wish. Yeah, we're holding up the hill, you know. This is what Jesus said. If you have a light, don't put a shade over it. Put it up there. We're holding Govardhan Hill up. Can anybody see it out there? Yeah, we're advertising on Facebook Live all over the place. Can anybody see it? We get at least 150 people sometimes 300 or 400 people. They watch the replays. Well, can you see it? Can you see us holding that Govardhan Hill up here? Can you see people getting sheltered from the pelts of the material illusion? Can you see the conclusive understanding of the absolute truth here yet? No, I don't know. Okay, well, we'll keep holding it up because it gives us shelter and anybody else who comes under it, and it's a great, wonderful thing to do. It's why devotees from the spiritual world actually come here to hold up the shelter of the Lord and teach people how to come under that shelter so they can become free eternally. Why do you think the Lord comes here? He comes to free the human beings from the miseries of being illusioned on every direction in this world. Yeah. Anybody can come out. You don't have to be intelligent. You don't have to be a sannyasi. You don't have to be special. This is a beautiful thing. The Lord has, the invite is to anybody now. Everybody. Yeah. Do you like the happiness that, can you see how nice people are? The ones who are feeling the shelter, they're coming wholeheartedly under the shelter. They get the reciprocation of Krishna. They feel it. Yeah, I feel really sheltered here. I feel this is the place for me. I'll just stay here. Yeah. And even people inviting, come out of there, come out, like Ravana changed into a Brahmin, come out of there, come out. They don't go, no, I'm going to stay in this shelter here. See, that's being fixed. Yeah, no, when you find, no, I really feel this. I really feel the shelter. See, that's getting Krishna. You come under here very easily without a lot of troubles. You start to feel Krishna's presence and shelter. And say, yeah, it's good enough for me. I just stay here. I say, I don't need to go out there or be attracted by the shape changers out there in illusion. The Maya is always changing shape, trying to attract us. That goes for you guys on Bigo too. You can come under the shelter here if you want. Just come regularly. Otherwise, stay out there and learn your lessons. We got to have the shelter now. Otherwise, you got the Fauci's and the Bill Gates. Yeah, come under my shelter. You see how straight they are with you. It's all about who you believe, man. Do you believe the real devotees who have the real shelter of the Lord, or you believe the liars and the hypocrites and those living in lower consciousness still, who haven't been raised up, including religion? You still believe in religion, or you believe in those who have abandoned religion, like the verse says, just naturally, because, hey, man, I ain't going to believe in any hypocrites or liars or those who haven't been raised up to the Transcendental platform. What can they add here? We can add to them. Hey, man, you want something more? Come under this shelter. You can't add anything to me. Or those who come in under here. Yeah, we've become free of that. Yeah. See, and then so Indra, when Indra observed this exhibition of Lord Krishna's mystic power, see, the shelter of the Lord is the Lord's mystic power. Isn't it? The Lord is inconceivable. This is his quality. He's unattainable and inconceivable. Okay? But for his devotees, they've attained the Lord. He's conceivable, and attainable. And those who come under the shelter also come to conceive of the Lord that's inconceivable and attainable, attain the Lord. That is why Sadhu Sangha is basically, ultimately, the only real way to attain the Lord. It's the only way to really attain attraction to the holy name, practically. Because the Lord he's God. He's mysterious. So mysterious you can't figure out. You want the Bhagavad Gita, Lord, where the Lord says, actually, I'm in this world, but not in this world. See, he's in this world and you can't see him. So what good is it? You're in lower consciousness. You haven't been raised up to where you can see the Lord. Oh yeah, the Lord's in this world, man. And he's more in the glorification of this absolute truth. See, that's the inconceivable Lord that says, I'm in this world, but not in this world. See, he's in this world, but you can't see it. That's the illusion. But the devotees, they can see the Lord. Especially they like, I don't want to just see them in the world that way, that level, Vishnu. No, I want to glorify the truth, man. Like the residents of Vrindavan. Hey, glorifying the beauty and the sweetness and the amazing nature of Krishna. Okay? And see Krishna like that. They present Krishna like that so people can, wow, this is really attractive. Okay? Sing a song about the absolute truth. Not just in his Vishnu form, being in everything. That's kind of like chunk change. Yeah, Krishna, yeah. It's like the gopis. They go to every tree and creep and say, okay, your Vishnu's in there. He's watching, yeah. So, hey, man, where did Krishna go? Show us. We want that, Krishna. Okay. So, when you get all this, those who come under the shelter of the Lord, what happens? So, pulled down from his platform of false pride and intentions thwarted, he ordered his clouds to desist. Everybody is full of false pride in this world. And the devotees are tested. See, but when they got firm under the shelter, the Maya desists. That's the whole point of Maya. That's the whole point of the Lord. See, we're like chess pieces. Just how it is. We're either serving the modes of nature, which is Krishna in that form, or serving his transcendental potency. When we come firmly under the shelter of the transcendental potency, the Maya desists. The modes of nature stop acting. No need anymore. You found the reason for the whole game. Is not for you to lose, it's for you to win. See, it's like now you go to the perfected Las Vegas, and now you win instead of lose. See, people going to the Maya, going to Las Vegas, it represents illusion. See, you go to Las Vegas to win, right? But you'll end up losing. See, this world is like a big Las Vegas. You come here, you think you're going to win by the path of fruitive activity, path of religious hypocrisy. See, religiosity. It's full of hypocrisy still. Abandon all varieties of religion. You go to sense gratification, you're going to win. Or you go to liberation, you're going to win. But what happens? You end up losing. See, and ultimately you just lose faith in it. You realize, this is imperfect path. This is imperfect. See, you come to sadhu sangha, now you win. That's why the Lord says you can't attain me in any way but by sadhu sangha. By the parampara system, by meeting a bona fide empowered spiritual master. You want to win? You go under that shelter. And you get the real prize, Krishna, relationship with the Lord. Now you're a winner. No need, everything, the clouds of devastation desist. And you feel it. We already won, man. You come under here very quickly, you're going to win. Otherwise, it's a losing proposition. You'll side with the demigods with real pride. We're going to fight this. Or you come under the delusion of the demons. And become their, you believe in them that you're going to win that way. You're going to win that way. No. You're going to win this way. Sadhu Sangha, where those who have the shelter of the Lord. Then all of that stuff desists. No need for it anymore. Overcome fear. See, fear, panic. Both sides are fear. The demigods are afraid they're going to lose, their life. As it was. And the demons are thinking they're going to gain their life even more. Wow, I'm going to have going to live in our underground place, 5-star hotels, and those guys are going to lose. They like this stuff. Hey, this always goes on in this world. Hey, this is a way out of it. Here you go. You can read a little bit now.
Seeing that the fierce wind and rain had now ceased. The sky had become clear of rain clouds, and the sun had risen. Lord Krishna, the lifter of Govardhan Hill, spoke to the cowherd community as follows.
See, the sun has risen. I like that one. The sun has risen. See, if I am raised up on a pole, then I will draw all men unto me. See, the sun has risen. See, after all that stuff, when we're firmly fixed, see, and raised up in consciousness, this is Krishna is raised up in our heart so that we become aware of the Lord, even in this world. See, this is called devotional service. Pure devotional service is to just joyfully engage in serving the Lord. You know, it's just natural. It comes, it's in the heart. See, so that when the sun is risen, see, all the clouds are dissipated. See, so Krishna, it's like Lord Chaitanya said, you can go to the holy places, but if Krishna doesn't arise in the heart, what is that to me? You're not alive yet. Okay? If you go to a holy place and Krishna arises in the heart, oh, that's wonderful for Krishna and wonderful for the devotee. Because Krishna, great, I'm finally liberated out of that prison, of lower consciousness. It's like Krishna is in a dungeon, man, isn't it? See, dungeon's dark, down. See, that's the lower consciousness, man. That represents the being on the level of power trips, man, power grabs, to become more dominant, more in control. See, that's Krishna is down there in prison. See, raising up is being the sun rises. See, the sun, Krishna rises. I'm free. And the devotee feels free too. See, first the Lord. What did Jesus say? The Lord does first, then the sun does. See, so it rises. See, and then you see that freedom. Okay.
Lord Krishna said, "My dear cowherd men, please go out with your wives, children, and possessions. Give up your fear. The wind and rain has stopped, and the river's high waters have subdued." Lord Krishna said, "My dear cowherd men, please go out with your wives, children, and possessions. Give up your fear. The wind and rain has stopped, and the river's high waters have subdued."
Probably been subdued.
Have subsided.
Have subsided. Oh, okay.
Have subsided.
Subsided. Okay.
After collecting their respective cows and loading their paraphernalia into their wagon, the cowherd men went out. The women, children, and elderly persons gradually followed them. After collecting their respective cows and loading their paraphernalia into their wagons, the cowherd men went out. The women, children, and elderly persons gradually followed them. While all living creatures looked on, the Supreme Personality of Godhead put down the hill in its original place, just as it had stood before. All the residents of Vrindavan were overwhelmed with ecstatic love, and they came forward and greeted Sri Krishna according to their individual relationships with him. Some embraced him, others bowed down to him, and so forth. The cowherd women presented water mixed with yogurt and unbroken barley corns as a token of honor, and they showered auspicious benedictions upon him. Mother Yasoda, Mother Rohini, Nanda Maharaj, and Balaram, the greatest of the strong, all embraced Krishna. Overwhelmed with affection, they offered him their blessings.
I think I need to stop a little bit because I want to move around a little bit.
Sun's up.
Yeah, sun's up. Okay. All right, so let's see. I'll read some of the comments here. All right, let's see here. We'll read some comments here, and then we'll probably stop. I'm under the shelter of R&D. What is R&D?
R&D.
Lord Ram, R&D, and Lord Ram. We are preparing to take out the demoniac. Yeah, it's Kshatriya way. R&D, I'm under the shelter. R&D, Ram. Tuka, Krishna. Yeah. Yeah, in this time, the back then, Lord Ram was had an interesting way of delivering people because he got people on the side of him and Lakshman to reclaim Sita. See, so Sita actually represents a spiritual potency. So reclaim Bhakti. See, Sita was stolen away by Ravana, who represents the demonic thing. Ravana represents the external energy who covers up Sita, covers up Bhakti, right? So Lord Ram wanted to reclaim Sita, see? And he used the monkeys to do that. So it was like a pastime. But the essence is always the same. The Lord is always trying to uncover or to reclaim Sita. See, so Sita representing bhakti, devotion. And that's the same thing here. It's the same pastime, but in a different way. It's like pastimes are always a little different, but it's the same mission. See? We're here to uncover Sita, uncover Radha, uncover devotion, pure devotion. See, it's covered. It's in the heart. It just needs to be uncovered. It has to be raised up. Okay, so so in this age, it's not necessarily by going out there and grabbing the demons and punching them and all that stuff. No, it's about uncovering this bhakti, and the Lord is very easily doing it. It's just say, those who can, whether you're demon or demigod, if you will come, or you're invited to come under the shelter of sadhu sangha, so that your bhakti can be uncovered. It's not like we're against the demons who are covering the bhakti. They're covering it. And the demigods there, it's still covered for them too. If you're not a devotee, if you're not praising being devotion and praising the Lord, the Supreme Lord, and in relationship with the Lord, you're an illusion. I don't care, demigod or demon, you're both an illusion. If you're praising, like we have some of these demigod types, they praise the Brahman. They praise, oh yeah, I'm just a point of light, and God is this unlimited energy. It ain't strong enough, man. It ain't conclusive enough. No, the Lord is a supreme personality. See? He's got a personality. Just like we got a personality. Usually it's mundane, right? Why? Because we're just reflecting the Lord's Maya, and there's a personality there, but it's mundane and material and twisted, and usually not straight with everybody. Okay? So devotees, hey man, I am a devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. See, this Supreme Person, he's a personality that I can appreciate, that I can relish, that I can taste even. Because you got to taste it. You got to taste it. You got to taste these pastimes with awakened spiritual senses. See? Now that's conclusive. See? That's the target. That's where spontaneous love of God and devotional mellows begins to be realized. You see, they came under that and they understood the shelter of the Lord. See, and their relationships with the Lord was awakened. See, but they came under the shelter. You notice Krishna invited the same thing. We're just following the same pattern here of Vrindavan, man. Krishna said, hey, man, you see, I'm holding Govardhan Hill, the pastimes of the Lord. See, this is the shelter here. I'm getting shelter too. You want shelter too? Come on under. See, we're just doing the same thing. Hey, man, Krishna's holding up Govardhan for us. We're under the shelter here. Come on under. See? Come on under. Get relief from the being pelted by the fear and panic that's going around from everywhere. Yeah, come away, have your spiritual body awakened. Have this Maya subdued. See, and then when everything clears, you great joy. See, everything clears. The Lord says, oh, okay, good. Yeah, I'll come out of prison now and I'll show myself to you and you get all benedictions. It's like when Bali Maharaj overcame the obstacle of even his guru who was holding him back from this. He said, no, don't go and serve Vamanadev. Just like here, gurus often may say, oh, don't go over here where Gaurahari is. Don't listen to him. Don't do any service there by listening. Bali Maharaj said, no, I think Krishna is more there because you're adverse to Shuddha Bhakti. So he went there and he got Krishna very easily without troubles. Otherwise, he couldn't get it with even his guru because his guru didn't attain it. See, there's troubles there for guru and disciple. And so Prahlad Maharaj gave him good sense because he instructed him and he went to Vamanadev. Okay? And then he got the Lord's relationship and the Lord sent him to hell to preach. See? And so even in hell, he was preaching like a story, man, to come and get people, hey, man, you want the shelter, man, I got God, man, with me. You also can come under. This is how you get it. Parampara. Parampara is just one person who has a shelter of the Lord. See? And in the disciplic line, it comes like that. See? Making connection with a person who has a shelter of the Lord. You can come in the line, but not be in the line. Hey, man, does that guru have the shelter of the Lord? Can you see it, man? Can you almost taste it or actually taste it? Coming under the shelter, do you feel like protected by the arms of the Lord? Is this person lifting up the pastimes of the Lord conclusively, ecstatically? Is this a worthy place to nest? Is this tree, this matrix, this place, a place to be, to feel that experience, not being pelted by the material energy and the ignorance and the lies and the deceptions and the cheating everywhere, even the demigod types? Okay? That's the oasis in this material world. That's the shelter from all of it. Yeah. Christina, winning and losing is all on the bodily platform, bodily concept of life. For the pure soul is not. There she is always situated in her unchanging. Yeah, winning and losing. Yeah, see, this is the fight, winning and losing. So the demigods want to win, see? And it's like competition, man. The modes are competing. You can see it in reality here, The demons are competing with the demigods. They're throwing weapons of lies and cheating. They're like weapons, man. Serpent weapons. Lies, cheating, hypocrisies, and all that. And the demigods are trying to counteract it with truth, or with their very level of it, understanding. See? And we can counteract it all. We just stop the game. of winning or losing. See? Because Krishna's already won. Even on the battlefield, Krishna says, I already won. This is my desire. I want these guys wiped out. He's already won. See, you can be an instrument of this. And so he engaged Arjuna in that service. The same thing now in Kali Yuga, the Lord has already won. We can be an instrument of this service. Kali Yuga wants everybody to go back, didn't he say? Kali Yuga, make it easy for everybody. So this is the pastime, is to erect the shelter, just like Krishna, or the shelter, the real conclusive truth about Krishna. See, those who have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, chapter 3, I think it's chapter 3 of Adi Leela, verse 1, or chapter 3 or 4, one of those, both are similar verses. Those who have the shelter, the shelter of Lord Chaitanya, but those who have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya was his ecstatic worship of the Lord. That's what he came to give, the awakening of spontaneous love. Those who have that, they can present the pastimes of Krishna according to the vision of the revealed scriptures and not speculate on it, not contradict it. It gives great power, great influence, great ability to deliver others. That was the secret of Jesus Christ. He presented the conclusive understanding of the Bible, the essence. That was the power of Shukadev Goswami. He took the conclusive understanding of the Bhagavatam and presented that. And that's why you still need a living guru, otherwise you're going to speculate. If you're only the pure in heart can understand Srimad Bhagavatam. Who is that? What are the qualities of that person? That person is worshiping the Lord with great ecstatic devotion. That purifies the heart, so you can understand the real conclusion of Bhagavatam. If you're a guru and you're not like that, you're not worshiping the Lord, proving it by chanting the Hare Krishna maha-mantra and the Lord's names and pastimes with great ecstatic love, you will not be conclusive in your presentation of Bhagavatam. Does that make sense? Is that according to the vision of revealed scriptures? Is that something you can check and not be bamboozled by? Does that make more sense than anything? See? People know it's not enough to have our hearts purified by doing rules and regulations. It doesn't necessarily touch the heart much. Proof is Prabhupada's godbrothers. He even said that. Didn't Prabhupada say that, wow, it looks like almost maybe one godbrother's not envious of me. See, they all followed rules and regulations and chanted probably 1 lakh a day. It wasn't strong enough. That's why I'm pointing it out, not to criticize. But hey, man, it's a Bhagavatam example now. Look at Daksha he's up there in the demigod realm, man. That's higher than here. In the mode of goodness and doing fire sacrifices and everything. But his heart, he didn't understand the Bhagavatam. If you understand the Bhagavatam, that means you understand its transcendental nature, and you'll understand the devotee who is preaching the real Bhagavatam. You'll understand the devotee Bhagavat. Otherwise, you don't get it yet. See? You're not purified at heart. You don't understand the power of ecstatic devotion. To purify the heart so that people can understand Bhagavatam. Yeah, Christina understands Bhagavatam better than a lot of people. Why? Because you can see the symptoms of worshiping the Lord in ecstasy. This is what the Lord wants to show. Yeah, little ecstatic devotion. You begin to understand many things. You can see many things. She knows what I'm talking about. You go and you see the Viadhi Bhaktis. You see where they're at, and you see where you're at in perspective. You understand the essence of what's really important. They all from a heart being purified by ecstatic worship. When the Lord is arising and you can taste him, taste his name. And it shows in your worship. See, Christina says sharing Sat Chit Ananda is win-win. Exactly. See, great realizations. Tuka says, I'm under the shelter of R&D in order. Okay, well, I keep going over this. I'm good. Thank you. Yeah. So, hopefully everybody understood the essence of this talk. Come under the shelter. The invite's out there, man. That's great, man. Yeah, the water's warm. Sometimes hot. It's like a jacuzzi. Yeah. Yes, they got 15 people still. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, we'll be back. We got a good spot for broadcasting, so we'll probably do a Zoom today and a lot of stuff. Yeah, look at this. I'm broadcasting even on the tethering. It's a Krishna's really, he's really blessed us with this place, man. It's free and it's nice and nobody much around and he's got it everywhere. It's like you can go out in nature, see, and Krishna's here. That's the main thing. Because if Krishna is not really manifest, it's like, and even a beautiful place is like, it's like hell. It's like, oh, Krishna, where are you? You know. Okay. Hare Krishna. See you soon.